My first question is in regard to asking you to explain what maybe you meant about unions when you gave an interview in 2008. You said, quote unquote, that you represent a lot of employers and that you, quote unquote, don't think unions are a good thing. You also said, quote, maybe the process that unions utilize to unionize certain companies are not the best ways to do things, so that's the thing that employers are worried about, end of quote. A simple explanation of what you meant when you said that you don't think unions are a good thing.
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley, for that question. What you're referring to is an interview I gave in 2008, shortly after I began practicing law, where I was asked about different proposed laws that were going to go into effect. I believe one was the Employee Free Choice Act, and another was the Respect Act. And I believe neither of those have passed, but I was giving opinions regarding those two potential laws. When asked about, the question I was asked was whether people think unions are still a good thing. My firm at the time represented a lot of employers and did not represent labor unions. So a lot of times employers don't believe that unions are a good thing. And that's sort of the perspective I was attempting to give, although probably inarticulately. But I went on to say that I did believe that unions can be a good thing. So that's sort of the explanation. I was on the one hand giving sort of the perspective of a firm that represents a lot of employers, and later giving my position.
Have you ever argued an appeal in federal court?
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley, for that question. Over my career, I've argued 10 appeals, and those appeals have been to the Tennessee Court of Appeals and the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals. I've also briefed 23 appeals in 23 cases. I've also litigated to final judgment 5 appeals to the Sixth Circuit, and I have one currently pending before the Sixth Circuit, but I have not argued before the Sixth Circuit.
Okay. To your knowledge, have you had to refile documents in cases that you worked on before the Sixth Circuit Court because they did not comply with local rules or other court requirements?
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley, for that question. I do believe that I have refiled briefs in cases that I've had before the Sixth Circuit without any prejudice to the positions of my clients in those cases.
Okay. Before a person's license is suspended for failing to appear, the Tennessee Department of Public Safety is required to send the person a notice. Here they would have sent letters before April 2010 and July 2016. In a letter you provided to this committee, you said that you do not recall receiving a notice that your license had been suspended before January 2011. Do you have any reason to think that you did not receive the notices that the Safety Department would have been required to send you before suspending a license? For example, did you recently move and forget to update the address on your driver's license?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. I recall receiving a notice that my license was suspended due to non-payment of a citation out of Mississippi. That's the notice that I recall receiving, and upon receiving that notice, I immediately took action to get my license reinstated.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Senator Bloom.